This is Yum Dude, and today we are making deviled eggs. Step 1, the eggs. There's two ways you can make the eggs. We're going to talk about both of them. The first method is to take a pot big enough to hold as many eggs as you're going to use. In this case, we'll use 1 dozen. Fill it with enough cold water to fully cover the eggs, and then add 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt. That will help with the boiling temperature. Just mix that to dissolve the salt. And add your eggs. So, of interesting note, we see this egg is floating. And that means that even though I believe these eggs are fresh, this particular egg is maybe not as fresh as it could be. Maybe there's a larger air pocket. I'm not really sure. It's probably safe to eat. It could be safe to eat, but in this case, I am going to give this egg a pass. I'm going to put that off to the side and just add the rest of my eggs into the pot, like so. You can use a smaller pot, it will probably boil faster. This is what I had handy. And then you're going to take this to the stove and bring it to a boil. As promised, this is the second way to cook your eggs. If you've already got hard-boiled eggs, you can skip ahead to the next segment, but I do want to talk about the egg cooker. This one is made by Dash. I bought it at the same time I buy all of my kitchen gadgets and implements if I can, which is one of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or Boxing Day, when you can get incredible deals on gadgets. If you cook a lot of eggs, and we do cook a lot of eggs in this house, it is a lifesaver. Like a high-quality rice cooker, it will make rice perfect every time, and the Dash egg cooker will make perfect eggs just about every time. So you've got this handy-dandy measuring implement here. You fill it with water, and you pour the water into the bottom like so. In fact, it has little markings, as you can see, for everything from like hard-boiled, soft-boiled, poached, how many, and that's how much water you use, just cold out of the tap. Put it in there, and you're good to go. Also, you're using a much smaller amount of water and electricity to make your eggs, so all around, not a bad idea. Okay, we're going to keep this because we're going to use it in the next step. You take your fresh egg, and in the bottom of this thing is a little nail, and you use that to pierce the bottom of each egg, just like so. Use gentle pressure. It will poke a hole into the bottom of the egg where the air pocket is. Nothing should or will leak out. If something is leaking out, you've got your egg the wrong way around. You're really looking for the fat end of the egg, and that's the one that you pierce. So we're just going to pierce all of these. I'm going to put 12 total into this thing. Once that level is filled, there's another level for a total of 12, and there's a lid, and then it's literally just one button. You plug it in, you turn it on, and when it beeps, your eggs are ready. While we're waiting for the eggs to finish steaming or boiling, we can get a jump on the gun and start preparing the mixture that we will be piping into our eggs. So to do that, I use a 4-cup measuring cup. It's handy because I don't need to use a lot of different bowls and things. It's deep enough that you can mix without causing a mess. Really use whatever you have at hand or want. So the first thing we're going to do for a dozen eggs is we are going to take 4 tablespoons of mayo. You can use slightly more or less if you want. That's the amount that I'm using. And just add that directly into your measuring cup. And we are going to take 3 tablespoons of mustard. Now you can use the mustard with the seeds in it. You can use a bolder, spicier mustard if you want, depending on how spicy you want your deviled eggs to end up in the end. I like them spicy, so very much so. And use whatever mustard you like. In this case, we have a bold and spicy Dijon. And so I'm going to go ahead and add 3 tablespoons in there, just like that. Okay, so now we'll add some seasonings. I like garlic quite a bit. I find that it enhances the flavor of almost everything. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of granulated garlic. You can use fresh if you want a sharper flavor. The granulated goes well in this recipe, I think. So I'm just going to add that in there. I am going to take about a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, add that in there. If you don't have Worcestershire sauce at home, don't worry about it. It's not absolutely essential. It's just something I like to add. And I do like my eggs spicy, so I am going to go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of red gochugaru Korean pepper flakes. You can use whatever kind of ground pepper you have. You can also use hot sauce. And what you'll do is you'll just finish mixing everything, give it a taste, and adjust as necessary. But first, we're also going to take some paprika. In this case, smoked paprika. I find the smoked paprika just has a wonderful flavor to it, a little bit better than regular paprika. I'm just going to add a tablespoon of that in there. And I'm going to hold off on salt and pepper for now. There's going to be plenty of salt in the mayonnaise, in the mustard, and I'm pretty good for now. But optionally, I could add some ground coriander seed, about a teaspoon. I really love ground coriander, so I'm just going to go ahead and add it, but you don't have to. And some people might want to add chives or other things in there. I really don't want to, so I'm not going to. What I am going to do is I am just going to mix everything together, get it incorporated really well, and then I am going to keep mixing until it's nice and good. And normally I would let this sit for a couple minutes just to get all of the flavors melded together. And then when I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and taste it. And for me, so far, that's pretty good. That's just the way that I want it. But I could add more mayonnaise or mustard if I wanted to. If you find that this recipe is really spicy or strong for you, you can use a little less hot sauce, of course. You could try adjusting the mustard down or the mayonnaise up, but this is how I like it. And this is just going to be perfect for the next step. So I'm just going to leave this aside, and we're going to jump over to the stove and keep an eye on the hard-boiled eggs. Okay, if we've hard-boiled our eggs, we took them off the heat. We left them for 12 minutes, and then we transferred them to a bath of ice-cold water, or just very cold water. Left them in there up to 10 minutes to let them cool. They'll stop cooking. The egg inside the shell will shrink a tiny bit, and that's just going to make it easier to peel. If we use the egg cooker, we're going to do the same thing. When it beeps, take the eggs immediately into the ice water and wait about 10 minutes, and then you're ready to peel them. So to peel them, I'm just going to give them a good crack all the way around. Don't worry about crunching them up. And then gently I start at the air pocket side. I pull the shell away, and you should find that it just comes away very easily. So you're going to be left with little tiny bits of shell stuck to the egg, and what I'm going to do is just dip that into some clean water, and I'll just put the egg aside for now, and I am just going to go ahead and crack and shell all of these, and then I'll dry the eggs a little bit because I don't want them wet for the next step. All right, I've peeled my eggs. They're ready to go. They're dry, and now I'm just going to start preparing them. So I'm going to take a knife. I'm going to carefully cut each egg in half. I'm going to try to keep as much of this yolk as possible. So I'm just going to wipe my spoon on the side of the filling container, and then I am gently going to ease the yolk out. It should just pop right out into that filling container. Okay, the egg yolks are sitting on top of our mayonnaise and mustard and spice mixture. And now what I want to do is just incorporate all of these. I'm going to break apart all of the yolks, mixing it with the ingredients. And I'm going to keep mixing until the mixture is a little bit light, a little bit fluffy. And really you want to get any big chunks of yolk out of there. If you're mixing by hand, it's going to take a few minutes. If you want to use an electric mixer, be my guest, although that can be a little messy, and getting all of the mixture off of the mixer at the end can be a challenge. So I'm just going to keep mixing, and I will be back in one moment. Okay, I've mixed my filling. I've got it reasonably smooth. I've tasted it, and for me, I lucked out. My yolks were really big, but I find that the mixture is a little too dense for my liking. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to improvise. I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon of mayonnaise, just like so, and I will mix and incorporate. So at this point, if you find that the mixture is not spicy enough, you can add more spice. If you want a bigger hit of the mustard to come through, that's really nice. You can consider adding another tablespoon of mustard as well. And probably you still don't need salt and pepper at this point, so we're just going to skip that. This is getting better, but really I have kind of huge yolk sizes. I'm just going to actually add 1 more tablespoon of mayonnaise and mix. So keep in mind, when you add more mayonnaise or liquid mayonnaise in particular, you're also adding calories, about 100 per tablespoon divided by how many eggs you're making. So if that's a concern, keep that in mind. If it's not a concern, it's all good. Okay, so that is fairly firm, but it's not super stiff, and I think that's good. So we will continue. All right, so we take our finished mixture, and next you're going to want to pipe it. So you can actually do this a number of ways. If you don't have a way of piping the filling with a piping bag or a silicone piping device like this, you can just use a small spoon, scoop it out like so, and just kind of use your finger to arrange it into the egg as nicely as you can. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that, but if you have done some baking, if you have a piping bag on hand, or you have something like this, that's what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and carefully, it's always more carefully when you're not filming it, fill this thing up. Whoop. Watch that. And it's a good idea to have lots of paper towels on hand. Keep your hands and your workspace clean. And I am just going to get this nice and full. All right, good enough. So I'm going to put the lid on here, and if I don't have any huge chunks, it's going to be pretty easy to pipe this. And I'm just going to go ahead and start piping. It may make some farting noises, don't worry about that. And it looks a little bit better, a little more swirly than the one I did over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill each egg up until it's about level or flat, and I will just continue along refilling my handy dandy piping device until all the eggs are done. Okay, I've piped my eggs flat, and good news, I still have more egg mixture left over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be a bit more generous. I am going to pipe each egg until it's slightly rounded and overflowing. Now, it depends on how much filling you like in your deviled eggs, so you could stop at the last step. You could add more, as I am here, so if you like it fairly decadent, then, you know, just add more, waste not, want not. And if you have any left over, you can just literally, like I do, eat it out of the bowl. Okay. So we are just going to finish these up. Making sure that we have a generous portion for each egg. Don't mind the noises. Okay, great. We still have some left over. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes you run out and it's really annoying, but this is perfect. So I don't need this anymore. I'm just going to set it aside, and our eggs are just about done. So to finish them off, now you could, if you want, top these with a bit of red and or black caviar. If you want sort of an East European egg. I don't usually do that, so I'm not going to do that in this case. But what I am going to do is I am going to take some of the smoked paprika, and I'm just going to slowly rain it down over the top of the eggs, getting that smoky paprika flavor and color over and into the eggs. And take another pinch, and I'm just gonna move my fingers back and forth, sprinkling it down. And in my mind, they're deviled eggs because they're spicy, so I am going to take the gochugaru pepper as well. And you could use the flakes, but the powder might work better for this. And I am just going to sprinkle that on there. And it's always a good idea, but also optional, to top with a little salt and pepper. So I just have some freshly ground salt and pepper. I'm just going to take that and do the same thing. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. If you feel like you have not enough, give one of these a taste. See how it goes, adjust as necessary. That is about it. So if your eggs are cool, you can just put a lid and put them on the fridge right away. Otherwise, if the eggs are still warm, they're going to let off a lot of moisture, so let them cool down a little bit, then put the cover on, put them in the fridge, and enjoy. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. You can also find me on yumdo.tube, on Reddit, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on X, and I will see you next time.